So just recently, there's been a lot of videos coming across my For You page, all about the 2024 election, and in particular, who Donald Trump is going to select for his vice president and other cabinet roles. So I started thinking to myself, who would President Trump take if he were to win election in 2024? Who would be his vice president and running mate? And honestly, who would he take for his cabinet roles? And all the videos that I've seen out there, a lot of people are choosing Vivek. But here are my thoughts on who he's actually potentially going to choose and why. One of the first positions I could see Donald Trump selecting for his staff would be for press secretary, and that would be for Kari Lake. Kari Lake has decades of experience as a news anchor for the Fox network. She's an incredibly brilliant and talented woman. I think for her to gain experience in Washington is what she really needed when she ran unsuccessfully for governor in our state of Arizona against Katie Hobbs. If she gains that experience, the first thing that comes to my mind is Sarah Huckabee, and look who's a governor now at Arkansas and kicking some serious butt. I think Kari Lake should take that role if she's given and selected by Donald Trump, and with that experience come back home to Arizona, and then she can run for either governor or senator. So another position I could see Donald Trump filling is the Secretary of Interior position, which is typically where federal policy is outlined towards outlying territories like Guam, Samoa, U.S. Virgin Islands. The first thing that popped in my head was, man, Tulsi Gabbard did a great job in Hawaii. She's a Trump supporter. Whether you're moderate, even if you're liberal or Republican, she fills a lot of those boxes, and she's very balanced and neutral. I think she would be a wonderful pick for the Secretary of Interior. And one of the biggest questions is, where will Kristi Noem fall? Many conservatives have put her and Vivek in that vice president role. I just don't see that. That is a very big role to fall into. And with her experience in both the state legislature and U.S. House, perhaps maybe Department of Transportation or Agriculture would be a better fit for her, and moving her up the ladder for larger roles in the future. But right now, I just don't see her being a vice president pick. Another big question is where does Ron DeSantis fall in this? He's leading second in the polls right now for presidency. And most likely, it's probably going to be Trump to run away with this. But here, the two-time governor of Florida, what would his role be in the future? He's very decorated. He's highly educated. My thoughts are he's got to get a cabinet role. Would it be vice president? I'm not sure, because sometimes personalities may conflict, and the last thing we want is Trump and DeSantis arguing in the middle of policy during the next 4 years if they were successful. My thoughts are he'd be a very talented Secretary of State, given his military background, his law background, his experience running the state of Florida. I just think maybe Secretary of State would be a much better role than Vice President for DeSantis if he were to be selected and chose and accepted that role. The next big question is, who is going to take on the extremely large and important role of border security and homeland security? Because I'm going to tell you right now, those are humongous shoes to fill, and we have got a significant issue growing here at this border. So my thoughts are, what big personality and who would be the right person in charge to even take on that responsibility, and who would Trump even select for that critical role? Perhaps it could be Vivek. Maybe this would be his chance to shine and really show what he can do in such a critical, important role. You know, maybe that would be looked at as a step down position from vice president, but honestly, this is probably the most critical, if not most important role ever in our time as a nation. So maybe Vivek, or perhaps it would be Senator J.D. Vance who would be best suited in that role, given his experience with both the House and his military background. Many conservatives would argue, no, we don't want to lose J.D. We need his voice in the Senate. We're already a minority. He is critical to maintaining the integrity of our current power and position in the Senate. And lastly, that brings me to the vice president role. I truly believe, looking at all of the cards in the deck, the one man that has stand next to Trump and has remained a positive influence, whether you're left, moderate, conservative, all of us can agree that this man, this brilliant physician, would be a wonderful pick to be the voice of our vice president, and that is Dr. Benjamin Carson. As HUD Secretary, Dr. Benjamin Carson was not only able to provide over $4.3 billion in insurance for hospitals and residential care facilities, get this, he served almost 1 million homeowners through the FHA program to become homeowners. And if we look at any critical aspect to is driving us all crazy in this economy, it is the affordability of housing right now. And given his experience, his know-all, I just think his expertise and being just a very balanced mind in the room, I just think Dr. Carson is the pick I hope that Donald Trump really takes a look at this as a pick, because I think both liberals, moderates, and conservatives can all collectively agree that this is an excellent choice for vice president, and someone who can bring balance and a quiet voice to policy moving forward. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. So in closing, that is my thoughts, who I think maybe Donald Trump would select for his cabinet roles and potential vice president. It's probably going to be completely different, who knows, but those are just my thoughts. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.